Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School MTG. In this episode, I wanted to kind of change things up a bit. I've touched on this particular subject in the past, but I don't think, very seriously. So I want to go in more deeply into it. So building a budget, old school legal deck. Since Erhnamgeddon is the main deck, first of all, the main deck I started with, and then I kept on developing, and I still play today. I figured this is the one that I should start with since I have the most experience. I'm pretty knowledgeable by this point. So in terms of budget, I started with $100 budget in mind. Not thinking if I could meet it or not. But funnily enough, to the cent, I was able to buy this deck. Well, quote unquote, buy it on CardKingdom. So I'm going to show you the list, the card list. But basically, it's what you see here. Although I've had to change certain versions. So like Spitting Slug here, I have 3 of them here are actually from the dark. Only one is Time Spiral. In the list that I bought, all 4 Time Spiral, things like that. I had to do where some of these may have had, this one is revised. I had to do instead of 4th edition, right? So, basically I went to, excuse me, I went to the lowest, still legal version of these cards that I could get within reason, right? So I try not to get heavy played things. And if it didn't hit too much, I would get a nicer version of a particular card as opposed to a quote unquote less desirable version. But still, for $100, I was able to make this deck that you see here. And this is old school compliant. So first of all, I'll show you the list of the cards that I bought, well, quote unquote, I put on my card on CardKingdom. Okay, so over here in the corner you see $100 subtotal. So funnily enough, to the penny, I was able to purchase the deck that you see here. But of course, I'll mention about the differences that from my version that I actually have the cards of to this theoretical version. So going from the top to the bottom, first of all, this side here is my sideboard, and this is the main deck. So let's see, Aeolipal, I was so for some of these I was not able to just because CardKingdom didn't have them all available within a certain set. I was I had to do a little bit of switching back and forth. So this should have been actually slightly cheaper. A few like 16 cents cheaper if I was able to buy all 3 Aeolipals from Falling Empires. Excellent is like light played, I guess. Or played. So I was only able to find 1 on CardKingdom, but I found 2 on World Championship. That's the gold border ones. But still, I needed 3. I was able to get 3. Here it is. Argothian Pixies Chronicles, that's the same one I have as well. 35 cents each. I got 4. Armageddon 3. 3rd edition equals revised. So for 3 in good condition, this is I guess this was heavy played. This card is one of the more expensive ones. So if it's more expensive, I had to go with a lesser condition to meet the budget. But 3 Armageddons for $3.50 each in revised. 1 balance revised, also good condition, which is CardKingdom for like heavy played or played. But from my experience, it seems like it's heavy played. So balance for $125. There it is. Okay, so this is now another one of my more expensive cards. 4 Birds of Paradise. These are once again, World Championship, which is gold border. So here I have revised and 4th edition. Right, those are more expensive. So like the ones I have are actually like around $20 to $30 each. But that was before I actually knew about the World Championship birds. I've since bought a few for my old school singleton decks. So I have a couple. But for here in excellent condition, which is I guess light played to played, each is $4.79. So I have 4. Black Vice, this is a sideboard card. Very good, I guess, is light played. So this is 4th edition. 4 Black Vices at 48 cents each. So here they are. Mines that I personally have are revised. So this is another one of those cases where I could have gotten one of these cards a little bit cheaper, $1, at least $1 cheaper. But just because of the CardKingdom availability, I had to do a little bit of shenanigans and had to get one of from a bunch of different ones. So I got 1 Chronicles City of Brass for $7. Then the other 3 are from World Championship decks. 1 at $5.99 and 2 at $5.59 each. But 4 City of Brasses right there. Mines are here. I have 3 gold border, like the ones in the list, and I have 1 Chronicles, which is actually, funnily enough, is exactly like this. But I do have 4 gold border and 4 Chronicles ones, because City of Brass is just such a useful and powerful card, and I kept them needing them for various decks. I just decided to buy a cheaper version, which is a playset of the gold border ones, which I have. All right, 4 disenchants right here. Revised are 28 cents each in excellent condition. Mine's are 4th edition, I believe. But 4 disenchants, 28 cents each. 4 Erhnams and Chronicles, so mine's are Chronicles as well. Excellent is 28 cents each. So this price even includes the basic line. So this is legit $100 for the full 75 card deck, 60 card main, and 15 card sideboard. So you literally can buy this, and it'll cost $100 before taxes and without having to own a single Magic card. All right, so Forest, so good, which is like played to heavy played, 7 at 18 cents each. Ivory Tower, so 3 4th editions. Mine's are right here. I got 2 revised in a Antiquities one, but the one for here, I needed them cheaper, so 3 4th edition at 90 cents each. Juggernauts, so mine's are 4 revised. This one's a little, they actually didn't have 4 revised ones. So I had to, just to input here and have the full list available for you, I had to put in 2 Dark Steel Juggernauts. But it's the same price, right? So if 4 were available, it would have been the same price, which is 25 cents each. 2 Llanowar Elves, revised, 63 cents each. Here's mine. Mine's are 4th edition, I believe. So probably could get this a little cheaper. Miniatures Factor. So these are another one that, compared to some other cards, a bit more expensive. So all of these are 4th edition, but different condition. 2 very good at $1.74 each, and 2 in excellent condition at 1.99 cents. So here I have the gold border ones actually. So I think the gold border ended up being more expensive, or at least similar. So I do have Miniatures Factor in 4th edition as well, a playset. That's the main one I use. But then I just wanted a gold border one because those look different, and just to for me to mentally know I have 2 different playsets. I just didn't want them to look the same, so I bought 4 extra gold border ones. But I believe the gold borders are a similar price, or also if they were cheaper, I would have gotten the cheaper ones here. But since I didn't, that means they're either the same price or maybe even a slightly bit more. All right, 3 Navineros this. So all of these are gold border because they're more expensive. You get them in revised or fourth edition. And I have 3 only in the deck for the sideboard. So one at 59 cents, one 47 cents, one 55 cents. So all of these are gold border, near mint, and then 2 excellent. Plains. So 7 basic plains at 18 cents each. Regrowth. So this one is actually, once again, there was no available. I think this was supposed to be the revised one. So I had to get something else as a placeholder, but it was a similar price, right? But regrowth for 149 cents, give or take. All right. 2 Sarah Angels in very good revised, $1.04 each. So I have mine here. Mine's are 4th edition, I believe. 1 Soaring, so this is a bit more expensive, you see. Revised in good, which is the basically played to heavy played, so that's the worst condition. It's already $5.50. All right, so here's my revised one. Although mine's is in good condition, or at least better than that. But $5.50 for a good condition one. 4 Spinning Slugs, 4 time shifter versions. So I have, like I said, 3 from the dark, 1 time shifted, just so you can see a little bit of the difference. But for the cheaper price, you would have to get 4 in time shifted, 35 cents each. 4 Swords to Plowshares. These are all gold border ones. Mine's right here are 4th edition, but I do have 4 gold borders as well. Somewhere else I must have. But for these are gold border, they're $2.49 each. And then finally, 3 Whirling Dervish, 4th edition. So mine's are, I believe, also 4th edition. Near mint, 35 cents each. So all this, there is 75 items. That's a full deck, exactly at $100, right? So there you see it. Now to discuss my build here and why I chose certain cards. So first of all, making something this, honestly, this deck is very decent. At the least, this is a decent deck. It could even be a pretty good deck, quite honestly. So when people think budget, they think just basic lands, right? So for within a $100 budget, I was able to get a full playset of City of Brasses and a full playset of Mishra's Factories. In fact, these are some of the more expensive ones, right? So looking at my list here, yeah, the City of Brasses are basically the most expensive cards. They're over $5 each, and there's 4 of them. The Mishra's Factories, I believe, were $2.49 each. Oh no, 174 and 199. So around that, those prices for the Mishra's Factories, which is still a bit more expensive. Usually the prices are 20-30 cents per card. All right, so this is already a pretty sizable part of the budget. And if you hadn't gone with gold border, you'll be looking at a lot more. So mine's here I have a City of Brass, just to to show you the differences in look. So here's my Chronicles one, which is basically $20-30. And this is now your gold bordered World Championship one. And honestly, considering the gold in the center, I think it looks nicer in the gold border. All right, but the price difference is 4 times less, 5 times less, maybe even 6 times less. So, and just to be clear, in Old School, and when I say Old School, I don't mean Wizards of the Coast sponsored tournaments. Not that they do much anyway. But within the Old School community, which is self-regulated. Gold border is perfectly fine, perfectly legal. The only two conditions for what are legal cards, same art in the center, same border as the original printing of within the years 1993, 1994. This city of brass here, let's see, was just trying to see the man, it is tiny, can't even see it because of the lighting, but just wanted to see the copyright year. But I know this came in later. But it has the same art as the original, and it has the same border, right? Not, I don't mean the gold border. I mean the border of the card itself. Land here, you know, this, you know, the center, you know, the text box. Basically, other than the gold border, these cards look identical, right? Maybe the slight differences in hue, the vibrancy of the colors, but it's the same, basically, you can see it's the same card. So that's the condition that you have to meet for a card to be legal in Old School. So the deck that I just showed you, the card list, meets that criteria. All right, so with this lens, this definitely makes the land base very very good. So I try to fit in a couple of Pendlehavens. If I could have, maybe I would have bumped up the amount of Llanowar Elves. But since I couldn't fit it anyway, and I would instead prefer to put the money on the 4 Birds of Paradise, actually, because for me, Birds of Paradise is a better card for this deck than the Llanowar Elves. But somebody else could. So this is, like I said, my list. Somebody else could have put in 4 Savannah Lions, which would be a great addition as well. They would have maybe put in 4 Elves and the Pendlehavens instead of the Birds. That's also a legitimate difference that they could have gone with, right? So this is just my interpretation. But it fit the budget that I mentioned. All right. So this land base is honestly pretty decent. City of Brazos is Old School staple, as is Mishra's Factories, in fact. Right, so this is very solid land base. So for white, you can't go wrong with a playset of 4 swords and 4 disenchants. Plus, I was able to fit in the balance as well. And of course, the 3 Armageddons, which is part of the namesake of the deck. Soul Ring, Old School staple. You have to have it. So for me, Spinning Slug is so this deck basically wants to have an important play in every turn. Turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe several plays within a turn. So turn 1, you have your Birds or Llanowar Elves. Turn 2, you have your Pixies. Turn 3, you have your Spinning Slug. Turn 4, you have your Erhnams or your Juggernauts. Turn 5, you have your Sarah Angel. And if you get ramp, you can bump that up a turn. Maybe even bump it up 2 turns. Or you can play 2 Erhnams turn 4. Or an Erhnam and a Juggernaut turn 4, right? So depending on the ramp you get, you can, especially if you get a Soul Ring, the deck becomes faster, more aggressive. You can do more things quicker, and then you Armageddon, right? So very solid list here. White is very solid. 2 Sarah Angels here. Green is the main color of the deck, I would say. Like I said here, the 4 Birds will let you cast the cards within both colors very easily, as will the City of Brazos. So just from my experience, that is something that's probably the #1 problem with any multicolored deck. Just getting the right amount of mana so that you can cast both colors. So the good thing about this particular deck is I'm not seeing too much of double colored mana on a card. So Syringes need 2 whites, Spitting Slugs need 2 green. And over here, the Whirling Dervishes need 2 green. But other than that, everything just needs 1 of the color. So that makes it easier. But maybe you want to cast 2 things, right? You want to do a Swords and a Disenchant, same turn. Or you only manage to get 1 Plains, and you want to play that Star Angel, you got a bird, right? So it makes it very flexible and more consistent. Plus, of course, after you Armageddon, you're still gonna be able to cast things. Well, hopefully your opponent will not, because they won't have lands. Plus, you got your Disenchants that can take away their Soul Ring, their Mana Rocks. All right, so that's there for the green, and of course, Juggernaut just fills in that just adds more aggression, right? So, like I said, somebody else might have instead put in 4 Savannah Lions, which on my normal Atlantic Armageddon deck, I do have 4 Savannah Lions, right? So that's actually, and I do have Juggernauts as well, right? So that's definitely a way you could have gone as well, right? So you go many different ways. This is the way I chose to do it. So sideboard, same thing. You can go a million ways. So we're in Dervish, of course, if you're playing against mono black, which is very pretty common deck in Old School. Navinerals, this is just a good all-purpose card. It could be good against control, especially. But it could also be good against aggro decks, weenie decks that come in super fast. Although this deck is no slouch, but weenie decks could still very much overrun this. So Navinerals, this are pretty good for that. Ivory Towers, in case you run into a deck that does direct damage a lot. Aeole Powell for, once again, if you're playing against a weenie deck and you don't want to go the Navinerals this route, you just want to pinpoint destroy certain creatures. And then here we have the Black Vices for control, or just any deck that sits back a lot. And of course, in the sideboard, you could go many different ways. This is just the way I chose to go. All right, so this here, of course, this is with my cards. I don't have the exact cards that are on the list, meaning the versions, right? In the list from that I showed you, it was 4 Gold Border City of Brasses. I only have 3 and 1 Chronicles. It was 4 10 Shifted Spitting Slugs. I only have 1 and then 3 the dark ones, although the price difference is not that big, right? Anyway, but I'm not gonna buy those cards just to prove a point, right? You saw the deck list I created from CardKingdom. You saw the price at literally at $100 to the cent. You can make this deck yourself, literally having no cards in your collection. And I would say this is a very solid deck. Of course, it doesn't have Moxes. Dual lands will, of course, bump it up, right? So those kind of things make it more aggressive, makes it more consistent. But, you know, that's maybe like 10 cards here and there. The meat of the deck is honestly very close to this, right? So I would say, right, of course, it's, you know, it's not fully powered. This is just $100. This has no Chaos Orb, of course. That's like $500 minimum, right? So, but with considering this $100 $100 deck, I think this is very good, and I think you can definitely win games consistently with this deck. And I think I'm going to put that to the test. We in my local play group, we had a Vanguard events recently, right? So that finished. So it finished. I put the deck away, and I happened to put my other decks away. So I was literally just thinking about, well, what am I gonna take? Like like what do I feel like, challenging myself, or what do I want to try out? But then, to the side, I also was thinking about this, like, hey, I haven't talked about budget decks in a while. I think I may saw certain budget deck videos recently, which kind of inspired me to make my own. But then, why not combine those two things together? I'm showing you that you can build a $100 deck, an old school Magic deck that on paper looks at the bare minimum decent, maybe even good. Dare I say this is a good deck? I would say this is a good deck, literally as is. And I think you can win games. So I will take this to my my next Friday Night Magic. And hopefully I can even record some games and see how this deck fares. So literally the same deck that you're seeing here, I intend to take it to my local Friday Night Magic for at least 1 week, maybe more than that. We'll see. And hopefully we can also get some games in as well in terms of the recording, and just to give you guys, it's best if I just tell you what happened. It's even better if you actually see it happening, right? So hopefully I can get that going as well, right? But definitely I will be taking this, and I will let you guys either know the results, or if I get some video, you guys can see it in play in action yourself. All right? Thank you for watching.